Hi friends, in our time together today, I want to talk about cleaning our low D whistles. A couple of things to bear in mind. If you keep your whistle clean, it will play better. A dirty whistle does not play well. You see, the instrument's designed, I don't want to get deep into this, but the instrument's designed for you to blow in here, and the sound hits that little blade there in the tone hole, and it gets swirling, and then it sends a vibrating column of air through the tube, and you cover the tone holes, and that makes different notes. There's a lot of engineering behind those statements, but that's basically what happens. The challenge is if you get this gritty and grimy up here in the head, and if you get the body gritty and grimy, saliva and dust and other things in the air are going to build up, and it gets blocked if you leave it alone. So what you want to do, well, what happens then is that vibrating column of air doesn't vibrate well because this is nasty. So what you'll do is you just want to keep it clean. Easiest thing I do after playing, and sometimes during playing, because you can tell by your ear and how it's playing if it's clogged with moisture, just blow in, knock some of that moisture out, blow in here, cover the tone hole. I have a swab. You may remember the video where I talked about the swab I made for my whistle. I'll link that up here because you don't really have to pay money for these things if you want to make your own. If you can afford it, buy one. The folks at MK Whistles sell this beautiful rod with an extender on it so that it will go all the way up in your low D whistle. And then slide this into the body of the whistle, being very careful not to bang it against the head because there is a protruding piece of metal up at the top. You don't want that to scratch the head. And then swab a couple of times, pull that out. I do that every time after I play. If you do that, then you don't have to worry about, oh dear, my whistle's just so full of garbage and gunk. So that's really what I do. Also, if you do that, you do not have to get as carried away when you do a deeper dive clean on your whistle. So now, like once a month, once every other week, depending upon how much you play and how picky you are, take the head off of your whistle if it's tunable. And then you can purchase or make this nifty thing. It's like a microfiber polishing swab with a shoestring and a weight. You feed that in one end of the whistle, and the weight's just to let it go down. And it's coming out the other end. And then you just draw that through your whistle. Do that a couple of times. You can moisten this. I try not to use a spray or moisture too often because the whistle should be able to polish itself, and that's the beauty of the MK, because you can now be a lot more aggressive polishing it with this beautiful swab at the end. So if you've got a nicer swab that fits neatly here, to be honest, you don't need this. So now you can use a cleaning solution, and this came with my cleaning whistle kit from MK. I like it, but I'm reluctant to use it. It's a sanitizing solution, and that's because there's some alcohol in it. Alcohol and soft metals do not mix well together. So I am reluctant to use this much, although my Howard is a harder metal, but I do use it for sanitizing some. So that's the body. This is just simple. This takes a few minutes every few weeks. Okay, cleaning the head. There are a couple of things to do. The first thing I might do is take my finger with another microfiber and just kind of polish that out. And if it's nasty up in there, use a flashlight and look. You could get this moist with a cleaning solution and nothing caustic, never anything caustic, and clean that. Then One nifty thing that came from the folks at MK Whistle is this is like an absorbent felt, because the places your head are going to get nasty, if you permit it to get nasty, doing this regularly, it won't get nasty, are here in the airway, up at the front of the head where you blow in, and then down at the back of the chamber where things could get really gicky, and then you could look in through the tone hole and see that. So you feed this felt thingy in, and you see it's thinner at one end and wider at the other, and it's supposed to come down, but it's soft felt, so it's a little hard to do. Come on. Okay, there it comes. Whew, I was about to give up. And you can, and here's where it's helpful, I find, to put a little bit of spray on. And then you just pull this back and forth. This is sometimes easier to do when the head's still on the whistle. And you pull that back and forth, you're cleaning side to side, top to bottom. If you don't want to buy a fancy one of these, here's a great trick. Get a 3x5 card, cut a strip that's just less wide than your the opening into which you blow, and fold it over. Well, after folded over, it's just a little less wide than the opening. And put a little bitty curl on there so it comes out at the tone hole. Slide that in. See how much more easily that comes out. And give that a little moisture to it, because otherwise it's just dry. And that's going to scrape and clean there, up, left and right, top and bottom. So that's really good. Now you might see, I like to shine a flashlight in here and look in. Is there any gunk in the corners? If there is, cleaning solution or even just some water on the end of a toothpick. A toothpick? That's a Q-tip. And then just sort of go in there and get at it until it's clean. And then blow that out, maybe give it another wipe with the cloth. Put it all back together. And it only took this long because I was talking. I do this in under a couple of minutes. Now this is the Carry Optima that I bought used, and it came to me very clean. However, I still gave it a good clean because it was the first time I used it. And so it's the same, except you're going to have to do everything with the head attached. And I'm saying it about this whistle because this is non-tunable fixed head. And so you'll do that. What I did to clean this one is I took the swab I made, and I put cleaning solution on it, and I swabbed this out really well. Remember, I have got a squishy end so I could get up in high. I used the cleaner for the airway and the Q-tip, and ran warm water through it. That's the next bit. So let's talk about those times when you need to do a deeper dive clean. Hi friends, I'm back. So want to talk about cleaning a whistle infrequently, or if you buy one that's dirty, or if you let yours get really dirty. You can run water through it, and you just do that by holding it under the faucet and letting the water run. Warm water, never hot. So the other thing is this is just one of those reusable polishing cloths or cleaner cloths to replace paper towels. Get that a little wet. Give your whistle a good wipe. The inside's moist. Okay. We've already talked about cleaning the head, and do that really well. And I would even just run some water into the head. I'd spray it with a cleaning solution, and then I'd do the airway and the Q-tip like we talked about. And then with that damp like that and fairly clean, I would take the swab I made, and I just really clean that out. I just really go to town, polishing the interior of the whistle. After that, I'm going to take the microfiber cloth, and I'm going to dry everything off really, really well. I'm going to clean that out. Probably take a dry Q-tip and get down in there, dry that out. And then maybe even get another dry piece of paper to go in here and get that really dry. See, when I did that, I pushed that through. The paper's coming out wet, so that's good to get that dry. And then set it somewhere after you know it's rinsed out nicely. I still see water in there. Dry that out. After that's nicely done, I store my whistles at least on an angle. I don't have a whistle stand. At one point I should get one. I store my whistles at least on an angle so that no moisture is sitting up in the head. Yeah, it's bad. You don't want that. So set that up somewhere. I'm going to set that over there. Now, a whistle like the Howard where you could pull the head off. You can even take, I wouldn't leave my head, I don't care what it's made of, I wouldn't leave it in the water, but I might submerge it and then just clean it all around. And then with that, get in there with a Q-tip. Always rinse it off. Never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever use a caustic cleaning solution. I checked this is a mild cleaning soap with no caustic in it. Yeah, I looked it up. Okay. Do that. And then do the same with the body. But my Howard looks really clean. But I would clean that. If I noticed that there was gunk around the tone holes, I would probably get like a microfiber cloth, and I would get down in there and I'd wipe around. I'd get another cotton swab and I would clean that tone hole, because you don't want gunking up your tone hole either. So we'll clean that. I'm not going to take the tape off of my Howard yet, because I'm going to do a video on retaping the Howard. I know Howard's done one, but I have a couple other things I want to add. Whew, it was bright in the kitchen. I hope all this helps. Keep your whistle clean. Just easy general maintenance. A clean whistle plays better than a dirty whistle. Keep the moisture out. Don't let gunk build up, and you won't have to do any deep dive cleanings probably ever. So I hope this helps, my friends. Until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy low D whistling.